How's everybody doing? So I want to talk about Nashville. So Nashville is very interesting to me on here. It's pretty incredible what's going on in Nashville. So come over the comment. Let me know what you found out about Nashville. So let's talk about the guy that they pinned it on. They pinned it on an Anthony Warner. Immediately, when I heard the name, I immediately thought Warner, as in Time Warner Cable. And now there's this 5G connection. Apparently, Anthony Warner was trying to destroy AT&T's 5G network. I'm not really quite sure, but that's some of the reports I've been hearing. So I'm not really quite sure what's going down there. It's kind of odd that you have a warning before a blast. All right. It's pretty odd that they identified him as the only person doing this. Very odd, because it happened on Second Ave. And according to the Google pictures, I went to Google and I looked at Nashville and I looked at the buildings where the explosion happened. None of those buildings are the AT&T building. The AT&T building is right around the corner or 1 block away. Unless AT&T owns that one part of the street, I'm not quite sure. But the pictures I investigated on Google Earth, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. Let me pull up Google Earth here. I'm going to show you what I see on Google Earth from Nashville. See if I can find it. There we go. What's up, the dude? What's up, Sean? And we got Plasos. What's going on? Talk about Nashville. And I'm going to pull up Nashville. And the street where it happened. I'm not quite sure if it could be the AT&T building. So this is Second Ave. This is Second Avenue down in Nashville where that bomb exploded. And the building on this side over here it could be owned by AT&T. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe this building is also owned by AT&T. But across the street are just a bunch of regular businesses. Like this is a Brazilian steakhouse right across the street, and the whole street is lined with different restaurants. So, like the old spaghetti factory, and that's a Coca-Cola truck in the picture. So they got the old spaghetti factory. So that whole side, one side is filled with restaurants, The other side's a big building, so I guess maybe AT&T owned that building too. So it took out the cooling system for the supercomputers and fried them. Okay. So, okay, because let me show you what the AT&T building looks like. So we're going to go down the street. So Plathu says he's eating at the spaghetti factory. All right, cool. So I'm down the street. I'm at the corner, Second Ave, in this other building. So that's the AT&T building. Okay. Now look at those towers off the building. Look how that building's designed. All right. So I'm on Google Earth here, and that I'm on the corner of Second Ave and I'm not sure what the other one is, but there's Second Ave. And if I just turn up this way at the corner, there's the AT&T building. Hold on. Oh, I turned it the wrong way. There it is. Peculiar building. Look at those towers. You know, we know about the ether and how they like that. So I'm sorry if it's buffering. All right, guys. So it's telling me that it's buffering. So I'm sorry I'm going through that. So apparently, Anthony Warner was trying to disrupt the layout, the rollout. He was trying to get the word out about the 5G. I mean, I don't think this was a good way to do it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot going on in this story. I mean, there's just too much. All right. You know, because when can anybody recall a bomber giving off a warning to evacuate the area before the explosion? That's the first thing I thought about, right? That's kind of odd. And then when everybody learned his name, Anthony Warner, the first thing that popped in my head was his last name, Warner. You know, like Time Warner Cable. I don't know. There's just a lot of layers to this Nashville story. So Plasso says the guy was a patsy. Say he was killed in a blast. Yeah, he could have been the fall guy. You know, he could have been dead before the blast too, right? They could have killed the guy. Now listen, I don't know what the case is here, but things are just not adding up. You know, Christmas. You know, they did. You know, so it was on Christmas and stuff. You know, it's just a lot of unanswered questions that I have because we all know about the 5G and about the frequencies and how dangerous this is going to be. And for example, the talk radio show that I do, that's what they were talking about today. They were talking about Nashville. They were talking about the 5G. And, these people aren't awake. These people are not woke. The people who do the radio show are not woke. So they're talking about 5G conspiracy, and they don't really know what they're talking about. I mean, I called in and mentioned, that 5G is a different type of frequency, that it's harmful. And I talked about how in one layout, they're going to use street lamps, and the street lamps have G in it, and they're going to be able to track when you approach, and they're going to be able to change frequencies, and you can send somebody into epilepsy or issues that way. So at least the people who are asleep are talking about 5G. Now, this is very damaging, though, because these people are just going to associate anybody who talks bad about 5G with being a terrorist, being an explosion, And that happened at the 5 o'clock radio show. Somebody mentioned, the flat earth guy. We haven't heard from him, and then this Nashville thing happened. Like, really? Because I've been talking about 5G and I'm known as a conspiracy theorist. Now I'm lumped in to this guy blowing up a street. So I think that this is not good for our community, for the truther community. I think it's an attack on the truther community here, because people are now going to associate, if you're talking about 5G conspiracy, they're automatically think that you're some crazy bomber guy. No, you're fine, Plasos. I mean, I'm glad you're typing in there. I've just been talking, so let me read what you've been writing. So, small missile. Yeah, so Plaso brought up DEW, which is direct energy weapon or a small missile. Now, that's one thing that I thought about, because when I looked at the photographs of Nashville, it looked like it was a missile hit. Now, we've also learned about direct energy weapons. They send out a blast of energy that's very harmful, that can basically instantly incineраtes whatever it hits. So here's another phenomenon too, because think about this. New York has been experiencing loud booms and loud explosions in the sky at nighttime. So over New York, over the last couple months, there has been many explosions and streaks of light in the sky. Now, they're blaming it on meteorites, right? They're saying, it's a meteorite coming into Earth's atmosphere and exploding. Okay, that's what they're saying. But this does have the symptoms of all what New York has been experiencing. So instead of the explosion happening in the sky, it happened on 2nd Avenue in Nashville. So New York has been experiencing direct energy weapons is what they've been messing around with, blaming it on meteorites, because they want to keep pushing that space propaganda, keep people believing. All right. But New York has been experiencing loud explosions in the sky at night, and it's been all over the news. So Western New York, Northern New York, New York City. So these places have been experiencing explosions in the sky. So on YouTube, in my recommends, there's an ad for Match. You guys may have seen this one. It's an ad for Match.com, and in it there's Satan. They have Satan as a character, and there's this woman named 2020, and they go on a date. Well, in this ad, on the date that Satan and this woman is going on, they're sitting in New York City, and there's a bunch of like explosions and meteors in the sky over New York City, like fireballs raining down from heaven. So Sean says sonic boom a couple of months ago in the Adirondack. Yeah, so you're right. There was. We have New York has been experiencing explosions in the sky. And I already immediately knew that it's not meteorites. Okay, we've already been talking about what the military does. We've talked about direct energy weapons before, So basically, if you're in the truther community, we already know about that. But you know, I don't know. You other people in different states have heard, but New York has been experiencing that. So maybe that's what happened in Tennessee. Instead of exploding in the sky, it exploded on Second Avenue. Now, could it have been this guy? Could have, sure. I mean, it could have been this guy, but I've already have such a deep distrust of mainstream media that I mean, it's hard to believe them. I mean, think about it. A liar is a liar is a liar. So how can you believe the mainstream media is putting out there? So what's up, Adrian? 9/11 to 12/25 is 19 years, 3 months, 14 days. Okay. So Plastos, I've heard the sky explosions are plasma discharges from the firmament. I mean, that's the first I've heard of that one, Gary. Oh wait, Gary Robinson. I mean, Plastos says I've heard those sky explosions are plasma discharges from the firmament. That's the first time I've heard that one. Sounds interesting. So Gary says the media is lying for sure. It came out awful quick with the evidence. Yeah, it did come out awfully quick. Nashville was about the fraud and Dominion voter machines. Yeah, so there's another connection too. So that's another interesting point about Nashville is that Dominion voting machines who run the US elections was somehow damaged or their computers are there, it messed up things. How convenient, right? How convenient that in the midst of this big voter fraud thing that the place where Dominion is gets bombed. So like I said, there's so many layers here. There's just so many layers involved with this explosion. I know I have a lot of law enforcement that watch my videos. Adrian, you bring up a good point. I thought about this right before I was going live. So Adrian brought up Nashville, as in like gnashing of the teeth. I thought about that right before I went live. Nashville, as in gnashing of the teeth, as in like the biblical reference. I thought about that. I was like, huh, that played on my mind, like gnashing teeth. It makes me want to pull up here. You know what? Let me pull up scripture here. I'm going to pull up the King James version and talk about gnashing of the teeth. That's because I thought about this, and I'm glad you brought that up. Gnashing of the teeth, King James version. So here's one. This is Matthew 13:50. And shall cast them into the furnace fire. There should be wailing and gnashing of teeth. All right, so here's another one from Luke. Luke says, "There's weeping and gnashing of teeth when ye shall see Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and all the prophets in the kingdom of God, and you yourselves thrust out." So that's what Luke says. Yep. So there's 13 Bible verses about gnashing of teeth. I just clicked on it. Let's pull it up. All right, let's read all these 13 Bible verses about gnashing of teeth. So Luke 13:28. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth when you see Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and all the prophets in the kingdom of God, but you yourselves being thrown out. Matthew 13:42. And I will throw them into a furnace of fire. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Psalms 112:10. The wicked will see it and be vexed. He will gnash his teeth and melt away. The desire of the wicked will perish. Matthew 8:12. But the sons of the kingdom will be cast out in the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And I will cut him in pieces. This is Matthew 24:51. And I will cut him in pieces and assign him a place with the hypocrites. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Matthew 25:30. Throw out the worthless slave into outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. That one's the most interesting. Let me read Matthew 25 again. It says, throw out the worthless slave into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Is that King James Version? This should be all King James Version. That's what I asked it. Hopefully that was all King James Version. And 19 is a pi in its original form. Okay. Oh, Gary says a printing factory that printed election ballots for the election burnt to the ground. It has something to do with a trucker that came forward saying he took a truckload of ballots to PA from New York. I heard about this story. So you're saying that company, that guy, there was a story going out that a guy was transporting ballots from Pennsylvania to New York or New York to Pennsylvania. So you're saying that place burnt down? Of course, how convenient, right? How convenient that that place burnt down. Yep. Yeah, this election's been pretty crazy. Yeah, so this Nashville thing's not really adding up. There's just too much involved here. I mean, especially, you know, this is what I don't like about Nashville. Now, when we talk about 5G and the dangers of 5G, we're automatically going to get lumped in this explosion, and they're going to classify us as terrorists. So all these people who are asleep, it already happened today. It happened to me today on the radio. Somebody called in on the radio station and said, well, we haven't heard from the flat earth guy. And then all of a sudden this Nashville bomb goes off. And, I was like, really? Now I'm being lumped in to being a terrorist? Like, this is crazy, right? But that's what's going to happen with this story. I mean, it takes care of a lot of different things. It takes care of the voter fraud. It takes care of these people who are still awake. It makes the elite say, "Oh, we can, make these people think that these 5G conspiracy theorists are completely fucking whack jobs." All right, so that's what I don't like about this story. I don't like about because now when you go to tell people about 5G, they're just gonna listen. They're oh, you're one of those bomber guys. What? What are you talking about? So that's what I don't like about it. Oh, so there's some interesting things. So there's no blast crater on the ground where the crater of the recreational exploded. And you know what? That could be evidence of a direct energy weapon too. So in countless images, the blast crater is always clearly visible in the aftermath, not in Nashville. So there's no crater. That's a good point too. Here's another one. Where the heck is this crater? Because I just look at my thumbnail. Look at the thumbnail on this video. There's no crater. I mean, that's a little suspicious too, right? There's no crater. That's a little suspicious. So Gary says, I wonder what the second truck was all about. The one playing similar audio that was outside of a church. They give hardly any info about that. I don't know. I haven't heard about a second truck that was playing similar audio. I haven't heard about that one. I've actually maybe I probably only really looked maybe a couple hours into this. I've spent maybe a couple hours looking at both sides of what's going on here. I'm looking at what the official story is telling me, and then I'm looking at what their community is trying to put out there. I really haven't seen much on the truther community side. I mean, I have seen a few things, I've heard a few things, but nothing that goes into great detail. But this whole 5G issue, along with the Dominion voting company, I mean, that's big. I mean, that's huge. And on top of that, the place who made the ballots in that New York, Pennsylvania scandal had burnt to the ground. That's awfully suspicious too. So there's a bigger connection here. Much, much, much bigger. So what's up, Christian? So he put in there Channel 5 chopper videos from the sinister area. So he put some chopper videos in there. So time to believe is now. It says, hi, Watertown. Have you played the recording backwards? Recording. No, I haven't heard about that. So you can play the recording backwards now? Is that a thing? Time to. No, I didn't even think about it. I mean, I don't even know how to play it backwards, actually. I'm not sure how to do that. But is there a video on it? I mean, that's interesting, right? So if you play the message backwards, what does it say? It says, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. What? This is getting deep. So if you play that recording backwards, it says, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. So some guy, this is deeper than just one guy then. I mean, come on, really? I mean, I already believe it. I haven't heard it. I mean, it makes me want to look it up immediately.
Um, but it was when I watched all the mainstream media when they talked to the witnesses, and then at the very end they said Merry Christmas. That stuck in my head. All the news stories that I seen, they talk about the bomb, and then like almost like a parody at the end. The witnesses and the reporters were all like, "Merry Christmas," just to rub it in a little more. And that's very interesting. So you play it backwards, and it says, "I want to wish you a Merry Christmas." So he says, "I heard it. I forgot who put up the video." It says, "Watch Exalted Lamb's video. He shows it on his video. Recall Vector took his bids on subject down." Okay, so Exalted Lamb's video. Okay, that's cool. Check out the Chopper video, and you will notice that there is no blast crater. Yeah, I mean, even in that photo that's on my thumbnail, there is there's no crater. You know, that's a good point. There is no blast crater. Huh. What kind of bomb was it? No, I don't know. Now, we've heard a few different things. The mainstream media, because there's no crater, and with what we know with direct energy weapons, and with 5G and the Dominion, it could be a direct energy weapon. It could be the same phenomenon that New York has been experiencing in their skies. Um, it could have happened down there. I don't know. I don't believe direct energy weapons create a. I think I don't really know if they would create a crater, which I don't think they would. So Adrian says all roads lead back to Obama, Barack Obama. Right? Hey, why not? I mean, they always use names like that. So the link is trying to show explosion come from underground, not RB. So you will notice also an entrance hole on the second level of the AT&T building. Yeah, this is just all interesting to me. It just things are just not adding up. There's too many layers. You know, there's some big ones. You know, some big ones. Like I said, I don't like the fact that now when we try to talk about 5G to the people who are asleep to try to wake them up, they're going to associate us with being a terrorist now. I mean, that's how it's going to be played out. That's already being played out like that. All right. They're already playing it out, and it's not good. That's very damaging to our community. So, I mean, there's several levels here that this explosion is trying to take care of, right? It's trying to take care of Dominion. It's trying to take care of 5G. It's trying to take care of conspiracy theorists. All right. So there's a lot here. So I see, yes, the explosion central point was on the street, not RV. This will demonize all of us as dangerous. I called this from day one. Yeah, that's the biggest part about this story that I hate is that we're going to be demonized. It's already happened to me. I already had somebody call in the radio station and associate me with the guy who or this explosion. All right, I'm like, that happened at the 5 o'clock show. I'm listening to the radio and I'm like, really, like I'm being associated with this now. Like that's not good. So that's just the way it's going to be now. I mean, they're going to the next big thing that's going to happen. It might be a flat earther, right? And then they're going to demonize all flat earthers because right now they just demonized people who talk about 5G. They sure did. So I don't like this. So the RV fairy tale was just a distraction. That's what it says. Yeah, it says weird, peaceful. Yeah, I'm not happy about it, guys. So I'm just going to keep praying for clarity, praying for wisdom on this one. We should ask God to give us clarity in all things. It'd be the best way because God will reveal things. He's not slow in giving what we ask. I've been praying for wisdom since my early 20s, and God has not been lacking. Showing me a lot. And same thing in this situation. If we just continue to pray to know the truth of the situation, God will reveal it to us. There's a reason why Scripture says that the truth, to be shouted from the rooftops. All right, nothing hidden. Everything hidden will become known. All right, so keep on digging, keep on praying. We'll get to the bottom of this. We'll start to figure it out. I mean, it's starting to unravel. There's a lot of layers here. There's a lot of layers involved in Nashville. Yeah. So Gary says that's the way. Pray and talk to other believers. Yeah. Yeah. Our truther community is under attack. Absolutely. I mean, we're demonized all the time. We're trying to expose the lies. We're trying to expose the deception and the evil. So, don't really much know what to say about Nashville. Sketchy. A lot of sketchy stuff going down. So it says, Chris says, people are missing the key point of this attack. The partial disruption of telecommunications that's still in effect in 3 states. Okay. Christian brings up a good point, and this is something that I've been talking about for a long time. That the partial disruption of telecommunications that are still in effect in Tennessee, Alabama, and so we have a disruption in the spectrum, and the electronic spectrum. There's a disruption. Now, I was in the Navy. I worked on electronic attack aircraft, so I dealt with the electronic spectrum. I have been warning about this. Now, this is like a mass blackout, right? It's in 3 states. I've been saying that this type of thing is going to be happening. Right? They're going to, the cell phones, the internet, it's going to be, could be electricity. All right. It's going to be, your so-called satellite signals that bounce and receive off the firmament. So then when the communications and the disruptions are going on, there's some military, the military's involved in this 100%. There's no doubt in my mind that the military is involved with, all right? I was involved. So for all you people say, oh, the military will never do anything. I was in the Navy and I was part of the 2003 operations that caused the blackout in the northeastern part of Canada. Okay. So before anybody says, oh, the military wouldn't do such a thing and you don't know what you're talking about, I was part of the 2003 blackout. I was in VAQ 139. I worked on the electronic attack aircraft, the EA-6B Prowler. That's an electronic attack aircraft. And yes, I was part of the 2003 blackout that hit the northeastern Canada. And they let everybody believe that it was a transformer that blew in Ohio and dominoed the line. All right. So, yes, the military messes with us all the time, especially in the electronic spectrum. All right. So, if you guys want to look up VAQ 139, they're in Whidbey Island, Washington. They're an electronic attack squadron. Okay. And I'm telling you straight from the horse's mouth, I was part of the 2003 blackout that hit the northeast in Canada. So it's the military messing around doing stuff. 814. Yeah. 2003. So this is, I brought up this point the other day too. Chris says, ask yourself why the FAA declared Nashville airspace as national defense airspace right after the attack. Now, exactly. So if this was an RV that exploded on the ground and it's some, right? And it was just not, why are you shutting down the airspace? The only reason why you shut down the airspace is if somebody found something in the airspace. If somebody got, there could have been, probably guaranteed, some air traffic controller was like, hey, what the fuck is this? What the hell is this? We got to shut down the airspace. We had an explosion and now this unidentified aircraft. There's got to be some kind of unidentified something going around in the airspace. You just shut down the airspace over a city like this unless there was an airspace danger, unless something was detected. All right. Yeah, so there's, like I said, there's lots of layers. And I don't know who else you're going to find in the truther community who actually worked on electronic attack aircraft, who've actually been a part of an operation against the American people. I'm telling you myself, I was part of it. You can look it up if you don't believe me. It's in the electronic attack squadrons are in Whidbey Island, Washington. There is a sound. All right. Naval Air Station, Whidbey Island. All right. So that's where you'll find your, right now for the aircraft that they use is the EA-18G, which is in the F-18 platform, but because it's an electronic squadron, it's called an EA for electronic attack. So those UAVs can fire precision guided MGs, AGMs. At fault, the largest North American blackout ever. Yeah. So that's what they, stupid ass story. Now, there was 12 EA-6B squadrons. It was one aircraft from each squadron, one aircraft. And they left Whidbey Island, Washington, and had to turn, and they came back the next day. but the whole Northeast went out that day, and they went out for like 2 weeks. But yes, that was caused by the EA-6B Prowler. That was the aircraft I worked on because that's the platform the electronics were on, was the EA-6B Prowler. I've been out so long that they don't use craft anymore. They moved all the electronics to the 18, and now they have the EA-18G, which is the Growler. So that's what they use now. So this is a good conversation. We're uncovering some good stuff. I have videos on, if you go through my videos, I do have video on the 2003 blackout. I do have a video explaining about the 2003 blackout. So I do have that video if you're interested in watching it. I show photographs of aircraft I used to work on, and I show photographs of the new 18G that they have. Yeah, Gary said, that's mind-blowing stuff. Yeah. Yep. The truth is stranger than fiction. So, yep. In a world full of deceit, telling the truth becomes a revolutionary act, you know? But, all right, everybody. Thanks for coming by. If not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. Do me a favor if you guys can. I have that Cash App link. I'll put in the comments after the video is up, or if you can go to the About, there's a link to that. But if you guys can, I got that Cash App, donate to the channel. This whole Nashville thing there's more to come. I think there's going to be more disruptions. There's going to be the dark winter. Oh, let's talk about, before I go, real quick before I go, I want you guys to look up Mother of Darkness, the Mother of Darkness Castle, and the 1,000 Points of Light. So, Mother of Darkness Castle is in Belgium. It's an Illuminati castle. They do human sacrifice there. And it's a lot of big names. A lot of all the players go there, and look up the 1,000 Points of Light. All right. It's very important to understand the reference between Dark Winter and Mother of Darkness and the 1,000 Points of Light. If you don't know what that is, looking into it, I just come across it today, and I thought it was very good information on the satanic rituals of human sacrifice and who's actually involved and where it's taking place. These sacrifices, one of the castles that are known is a castle in Belgium. It's called, if you look up Mother of Darkness, you'll find it. So, but that's what I just want to leave you guys with. So look into that stuff too. But anyway, thanks for coming by. God bless you guys. Good conversation tonight. And who knows, I might come live tomorrow night too. Thanks for coming by.